Jody Williams, we are back.
What is up, man? How you doing?
Happy birthday, Jody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now, how old
47.
are you?
47. 47.
47. We are roughly the same age. I turned 47 coming up in July.
And as I was telling you, like, y'all out there in the chat, thanks for joining us. And don't forget to like and subscribe. 47, which means in arm wrestling terms, you are 3 years away from being eligible for Grandmasters. Now, I might not look like I'm 47, but yeah, it's man, think about that. If I were to go to the Worlds and say, hey, I'm pulling in Grandmasters, they might need my ID and say, look, man, you are not, almost 50. Yeah, I'm almost a half a century old. So
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm kind of looking forward to pulling Grandmasters. It's just up in the air where I'm going to be doing that because of the politics that are going on within Canada. And Scott knows what I'm talking about. But we can't get into that too much at the moment.
Yes.
But it's going to be somewhere.
But what we can get into, last time you and I talked about that, Ryan Bowen had this match set up with Chance Shaw. Cool. And then the bottom came out. And now we're all talking about who. You and I were here a week ago, and we were talking about, okay, who exactly does he have for replacement? Lo and behold, he has Toddzilla. And my friend, I'm going to let you start the whole conversation. What are your thoughts on that?
It's surprising. What a pivot. Like, you take a guy that basically has no similarities to Chance Shaw. I mean, they might be similar in level, but they do not pull the same at all. So if Bowen's getting ready for Chance Shaw, well, Bowen looks like he's getting ready for everybody. Let's be honest. He looks kind of tank-like these days. He looks like a completely different human being than he did a few months ago. If you see his photos, they almost look Photoshop. He's so much bigger. Like, he's massive. Now, Todd coming in there, Chances was obviously going to try to get, hand control and top roll him and, do his thing that he always does.
Yeah.
Todd is going to pull in a completely different plane. And Bowen has always been the guy that is, kind of preached the methods of Todd Hutchings, the side pressure stuff, and all that. And I like the quote that Todd said, "We will see how well you've applied what I taught you." when he's kind of shit talking Bowen. If Bowen beats Todd Hutchings, it will shock the world more so than if he beat Chance Shaw.
I think if he beats Toddzilla, it'll break the internet.
Yes. The arm wrestling community will not know what to do.
There'll be a bunch of Ryan Bowen fans all over the place now. But I will say this. Where was this mind? Did you see that video he put out? It was like maybe 3 minutes long or whatever. Maybe a few days ago. It was like a motivational how he was skinny and all of a sudden now he's bulking up because now he's applying the weightlifting method.
The ancestral tenets or something.
Yeah, but my thing was
the Liver King approach.
My thing was like, where was this mindset when he was getting ready for Coach Ray? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying you got to be that big because I guess they agreed on a certain weight where she kind of starved himself to death, which is mistake number 1, 2, and 3. But the mindset was not there. I mean, here's the thing. And Ryan, you probably don't know anything about this because you being a super heavyweight, you don't have to worry about cutting weight. But, I know for me, I'm at a point in my life where I don't like to cut weight now because then I'd rather just train for strength and power rather than just, I got to do half and half. Because then I got to make sure I don't get too strong or too big because then weight's going to come on. I got to worry about staying. I'm about done with that. Now, granted, there's events that, I'm on the cusp of being heavyweight and super heavyweight, depending on what those events are. Because I'm sitting at 232, 233 every day. Probably more now since I just got back from Las Vegas. That might be a little different now. But my whole point is just like, this version of Ryan Bowen, like the mindset, and I think he's taking it seriously now because remember, it was all, vectors and, 44% and all that other stuff and hand control, this, that, and the other. Fine. And now he had to do the weight stuff because he was pulling chance. Now, can he apply that same method and that same training aspect to pull, Toddzilla? That is the question,
Man, that is the question, but they're talking about him, we've heard this before. We have heard this before that he has been pinning Lachlan, all that kind of stuff. However, he looks the part now a little bit more. It's a tough one.
And again, I think, now that Bowen's been, in the sport for a while now, he's been putting on that muscle maturity. If you guys are in the bodybuilding world, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So he's putting on that muscle maturity now where it's like, okay, now this version of Ryan Bowen might be scary. How are we doing, Neil Pickup? So going through that, and I understand what you're saying before, Ryan, where, hey, he's pulling chance. He was focusing on that. I got to get bigger. I got to get stronger. And Chance is more going to go outside and over the top, whereas Hutchings is going to go the total opposite way. Does that change your training? Does that change how you approach it? Kind of, sort of. I mean, you still want to be strong at some point, but now you got to make some tweaks in your training because you're pulling somebody different. Yes or no?
Depends what his approach to Chance Shaw was. Because if he's going into this thinking he can out-top roll Chance Shaw, I don't think that's realistic. I think at one point he could, and he's definitely got that as a backup plan. But I think Bowen might have had the approach that maybe he was going to do a similar move to Todd Hutchings to try to beat Chance Shaw. And if he's kind of training that plane, well, he's going to be going right into the fire with a guy that does that too.
Well, I'm going to predict that every match against Chance Shaw was going to end up in the strap anyway, where this match with Todd may not because of the style that, Todd pulls, unless Ryan's going to bail thinking, okay, maybe I can't do that yet. Because, Ryan, how you got into matches where you want to do a certain move and you can't because you need to have a strap to secure that.
Yeah.
It may be one of those situations,
Yeah, it could be. I don't know, man. This is one of the most, the easy prediction is to say Todd Hutchings runs away with it. That's the easy prediction. But you take a look at Ryan Bowen and you question what is going on. How much stronger is he going to be when he comes in here? And is it enough to even slow down Todd Hutchings?
Yeah.
And is Todd in shape? Somebody asked the question, is Todd Hutchings in top form? And there was some doubt about that because it's a relatively short notice match.
Well, I know he pulled a guy in Montana last weekend, not this past weekend, but last weekend, I believe. I don't know the guy. I mean, there's no disrespect to him. I just don't know. But you can't compare that guy to Ryan Bowen. You can't. That's just what it is. Neil Pickup is saying Dennis, by the way, Cyplenkov is looking significantly bigger than he was. Soon we'll get to see where his level is really at. And
well,
that
we already know what next week's show is going to be. Completely king of the table.
Oh, yeah, that is true. But I always thought, Ryan gets so much crap from everybody about, oh, you don't deserve to get this. You're not ready for this matchup. And that person, it's like, you know what? This is why I admire what he does. He's not afraid to put himself out there. Sometimes a lot of pullers, not all, but a lot of pullers get real paranoid. They get real nervous because when you really want to, everybody behind closed doors, or when you're sharing a pint or whatever, a beer or whatever, and, oh, yeah, I can beat that guy. And then when it's time to put the, pedal to the metal, so to speak, then it's like they start to regress a little bit. You know what I mean? Ryan will go out there. If he gets smacked, cool, no big deal. Yes, go ahead, give it to me. I'm a jerk for thinking I can beat that guy. It's back to the drawing board. Now he comes back out. Hey, I'm ready to go again. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's always put himself out there. That's one of the things I admire about him. Yeah, you take a loss, but guess what? No one's going to ever be in this sport and go undefeated. Okay.
I firmly believe that if a promoter called Ryan Bowen tomorrow and said, "Do you want to pull Levon in 2 weeks?" he would say yes and give it a go.
Yes. I would myself would love to pull Ryan Bowen. And that's a straight up fact. I would love to pull that guy. Yes. You know, he might be too busy for me. He might not think nothing of me, but would love to, pull that guy and just, dig my teeth in there, because look what he's doing. He's getting calls. He's pulling matches, win, lose, or draw. He keeps coming. He keeps coming. Okay, I lost. No big deal. Back to the lab. Concoct something. Okay, let me get bigger. Let me go ahead and implement some strength training now. Hey, I'm ready to go do this. Why would you not want to, and right now, he's probably the hottest, most talked about puller, along with some others right now. He's not a super heavyweight. So take that in consideration.
Who would you say is the hottest, most talked about arm wrestler right now, outside of Devin Larish?
You mean like weight class or just what?
Overall, who's making the most headlines?
Either Ermis, Gasparini, or Jerry. Because there's that little triangle where it's like Levon's at the top, and then you got Jerry on one side of the bottom and Ermis, Gasparini on the other side. And from what I heard, it's title for title, right? Because you got Levon, who's the current legacy hammer holder, and you got Gasparini, who's the current East versus West champ. So from what I'm hearing, the rumor has it those guys are going to put their titles up. Winner take all type.
Do you think that he has a chance?
You know what? If
Gasparini, I don't want to steal the thunder from next week, but oh my God.
I'm going to say it now and I'm going to say it next week. If Gasparini gets one pin, a legit pin on him, walk away.
Just leave?
Walk away.
Book a flight home?
Dude, sir, when was the last time he actually got pinned? I'm not saying win on elbow fouls. I'm not saying that. Like, if he actually got a legit pin, I'd walk away.
Has he even lost on elbow fouls? That's the thing. Like, I think it was at the World Championships in 18 or something. He lost a match on fouls.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. So, I guarantee you, if Gasparini loses 5-1 or 4-2, they are throwing a party in Italy.
Yeah. Maybe that's why Ryan takes all these matches, is because it's usually a win-win for him. Like, doesn't matter what happens.
And that's smart. And don't think, and look at Coach Ray, right? Was just lighting people up last year. And now, 2023, guess what? He's 0 for 2. I don't think and I'll be the first to admit, I was one of those guys that thought, Doug Ehrlich didn't have a chance against, I thought Doug was going to lose to Coach Ray 3-1. Shockwave, Doug ends up winning 3-0, okay? Then in the dark card match, Coach Ray, it's like he didn't show up. And so it's like, does that mean Coach Ray has lost everything? No. It's all about matchups, people. You never know. It's all about matchups, So maybe Gasparini has something in store for Levon, Meanwhile, Jerry's just sitting here waiting for that. But at the same time, now you got Devin chirping about, hey, what's going on? And Paul Italia, which we're going to sash into the next topic. I got 10 grand. How come we can't get North America, to pull each other? And I had said to you before we go live, Ryan, that it's just like WAL. Once you guys got a big bite of the apple of East versus West, of King of the Table, once athletes get a taste of that, then it's like, I want to do nothing but that. It's gotten to a point now where it's like us versus them. What I mean by that, it's like North America, whatever, Team West versus the guys across the pond. It's kind of getting like that now. So it's like, well, I don't want to pull my own guys where I want to, be on the world rank, because I have to go through the guys across the pond. So I kind of left North America in limbo. And I kind of get where Paul Italia was coming from. But at the same time, it's like, okay, Now,
that's an interesting statement, because I heard Corey West on Paul Italia's channel. I listened to it this morning, and he was talking about trying to sort out the top 5 in North America.
Right.
And he made the comment that it's a little bit harder to do because it's been so long since they've just faced off against each other.
Right. I mean,
And what happens? What happens? Like, you put Jerry Catterall versus Devin Laird in their current form. Like, Jerry has been getting good wins, but Devin looks out of this world. And then where does Travis fit into all this?
Travis needs to pull before I have any kind of, opinion about him, because last time we saw Travis, he lost to Brendan Assessor, but he wasn't training for that. You really don't know. He's like an enigma. You really don't know what's going on with Travis. God forbid if Paul says, "Hey, Travis, I got 10 grand. You want to pull somebody?" I guarantee you he's training for it. But until that happens, it's not going to, I don't have an opinion about Travis. It's not that I don't like Travis. It's the fact that how many times have we all of us, myself included, maybe some of you guys in the chat, how often did you see yourself get hoodwinked by Travis? A couple years ago, I was in Texas, and he made this big thing about, oh, yeah, well, me and Michael Todd are going to go one-on-one and yada, yada, yada. He never said on what, but he just said one-on-one. It became to be that big boxing thing, Everyone got sucked into that, right? So, and then Travis was supposed to pull Cody Merritt last year. How'd that work out, right? So until, Travis actually does something, I don't have an opinion about it. That's just the way I feel, Ooh, hey, go ahead and highlight that comment that Neil put up there. A riskier match would have been someone like, is it David or David?
Let's say David for whatever reason.
David, who just beat Chance. Why? Because he's a dangerous, but hasn't really got that established name yet. Obviously, not commercially adventurous. Now, he's another guy, where it's like, okay, they don't really talk about him a lot, but they probably should, because he has all the tools necessary, Now, question is he in the same weight class as Angarbayev, or is he one class down?
That's a good question. I think he can probably make it, but it's I don't know.
Because, and Neil, if you could answer that question, because if David is one weight class down for Angarbayev, then I would say the match would be Paul Lynch should pull at some point would be David.
Yeah.
That's just, who cares what I think? That's just my opinion, So that'd be an awesome way to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what did Paul Lynn actually offer up with those 3 gentlemen we mentioned?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Now, we can't just throw Travis in with anybody. We can't do it until we see him pull. And the fact of the matter is, he now has one son who's most likely NFL bound. He has another son that has been accepted into as a scholarship now. So, it's all going well for the Bagent family. And I don't know if arm wrestling has room in there.
And by the way, do I have to remind everybody he doesn't like super matches anymore? He even said that. Jay Clean says David is a weight class above Angarbayev. Okay, so does Paul Lynn? That means Paul Lynn must be below Angarbayev then, right? Ooh, David's a walking banana. Skin for Ryan would have represented a serious test and would have made sense for fans due to the fact that David just got the chance win. I'd say I'm going to butcher this name. Arabuli is between 116 and 120. Okay.
I think that would have been an interesting match. Maybe a more interesting match, because you can always do the weirdo math that says if Ryan can beat him, he can also beat Chance. It's kind of like 2 birds with 1 stone, right?
Yeah, but okay, so let's play devil's advocate. Let's just say Chance didn't cancel. And I hope he's training hard, because he has Richard Lepke's coming up, but that's neither here nor we'll get to that down the road. But if Ryan all of a sudden just happened to beat Chance Shaw, let's just say he beat Chance 3-2, right? Now, that doesn't mean that version of Ryan Bowen can compete at Chance's weight class. That doesn't mean that. And I hope everybody understands that, like that doesn't mean you get to just plug him in there. All right, I'm gonna feed you the, Morozov and all the other studs. Like, nah, that doesn't mean that. It's an honest, good win. He can stick a feather in his cap, So, but again, it's like, what do you do,
Is there anyone on the undercard of note on that thing?
Which one?
The match that Bowen's putting on, AWE or whatever it's called.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I've only seen advertising for one match.
Because it's in Australia, so it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some Australians there. I don't know if Ozzy's pulling. He might feel. I don't know.
Well, Lachlan's over there, so it would make sense to get him a match.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know who you put against him anymore either, though.
Well, I mean, okay, look at it this way. Because when you said that, the first person that came to mind was Derek Smith, and he went to East versus West. He got some studs put in his way. He came out and losing them. Went back home and says, you know what? I'm going to train, put my nose to the ground, grind it out. And what do you know? Next month, he has Austin Jaggers. Ooh, Jay Clean. Is that true?
Is that a fact, Jay Clean?
Wow, that'd be nice. Lachlan and Zura. But again, it's one of those situations where, I don't know how they pick select guys because, the one person I haven't heard in a while that was on one of the original East vs. West, he was a fill-in. Haven't heard nothing from Herman Stevens, Neil Pickup says it would have kept the Chance interest alive. In my opinion, it would have actually ignited it further, particularly if Ryan got a win. Many people will write off Ryan's chance against Todd apart from short notice. And that's the thing. It's like everybody has a chance. You got to realize this. No point intended. But everybody has a chance to win. Gasparini has a legit chance. He has to find that lane, find that opening. Some way, somehow, everybody has a weakness, which is why everybody will take a loss, right? Everybody has a weakness. It's up to that opponent to find what that weakness is, Does Levon have a weakness? Yeah. It's just, guess what? Nobody's found it yet,
Does he, though?
Does he have a weakness? I'm sure he does. And like I say, it goes back to the old saying, styles make matches, right? If for some reason he goes against somebody that's quicker than ever or gets to that lane and sits there and then he has to sit there and struggle, okay, because let's be real, Levon hasn't really exerted a lot of energy in his matches. Let's get that straight, right?
I think the only guy, well, there's a couple things. A shorter arm maybe will do better against him.
Mm-hmm.
The only style I really haven't seen him pull at this level is Jerry.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened there.
I cringe. Obviously, I'm pulling for Jerry, but I would cringe because doing this and the way Levon goes that way terrifies me. It terrifies me. And by the way, the build-up between Jerry, right, in his last match with Georgie, you would think Jerry should have won 3-0, right?
You think so, but Georgie is a powerful guy. I don't think people give him enough credit.
And he probably should have won, actually. Georgie, he probably should have won.
That's what everyone's saying.
The strap thing, he kept like, I'm like, dude, you should have won that. I punched everybody that was in my corner. Like, dude, you should have won that match. But, now Jerry's kind of like sitting back. And if I'm Jerry right now, if the number one spot is, your main goal, stop worrying about 10 grand versus Devin right now. Because even Devin said in his response to Paul Italia, hey, let me know. I'll be ready in the next 4 weeks because after that window, then he's focused on Gennady, And like I said, this is where, and I've done this too in the past, where I got this goal and I got sidetracked for a second, right? And I feel like I don't want Jerry to get sidetracked. If number one spot is your, destiny, then you need to focus on that, which means I know for a fact he's going to be well invested, because if Levon wins, then Jerry, you're next up, right?
I don't think Devin can beat Jerry, or pardon me, I don't think Jerry can beat Devin. I think Devin would be a bad day for Jerry, and it would derail him right now. I think they need to forget about that match for a little while.
That's exactly. Now, granted, it's kind of hard when someone says, "Hey, I got 10 grand." I'm sorry, 10 grand will motivate anybody, but dude, stick to what's going on, right? If Levon's the guy that you've been saying since you make this comeback, then you need to focus on that. I only say that because it's like going, yeah, it could be a bad day from a matchup standpoint. But when Devin's doing Devin stuff, hey, in 4 weeks, respond to me. I don't think Jerry's responded yet, but you got 4 weeks to get it done, because after that, I'm shutting the doors and think, okay, opportunity is done now. Now I got to focus for Gennady.
Surprising part is Devin has said that he would just use it as part of his training. He wouldn't even really peak for it.
See how much of a slap in the face that is? That's like a backwards.
Well, and you know what, though? If Jerry can somehow get that win, what does it do for Jerry? Like, it just brings lots more eyeballs to Jerry Catherall.
But there is one person out there who we're not really talking about that may be the guy that makes Levon sweat. And no one's saying this. No one's talking about him right now. Rightfully so, because there's other matches in between. But no one's talking about Denis Cyplenkov.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that Russian guy.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen enough of him to even put him in the conversation right now.
Well, Denis would be the guy if he returns to full form.
Yeah, and a lot depends on how he pulls against John, because that's on the same card. And it has the thing. That's on the same day. They're in the same building, the co-main events, right? Brzezinski, Cyplenkov, and then Gasparini and Levon. So it's going to be like, okay, this is serious stuff right here. If Levon wins, right, and Cyplenkov wins, now all of a sudden, because we're kind of narrowing everything down, right? Of course, Levon's number one until someone dethrones him. Now Jerry's probably next in line. But now if Denis beats Brzezinski, now Denis is kind of going, hey, what's up? Does he wait and get his crack at him, or does somebody put a match in front of him? You know what I mean?
I don't think so, because the more people you put in front of him, the more you risk losing the marquee.
Right. And even Tanner said he thinks that Denis may need to at least have 1 or 2 matches before Levon. I'm not saying that, after John, he's next, but, you have to put him in the conversation because, with Levon, like I said, it's been a while since you took in a pin.
CJ, I don't know. I agree with you in part, but it's going to be how he beats John.
Yeah.
That determines that if that jump is warranted or not.
Okay, let's play it. I love playing devil's advocate. You guys in the chat can also play too. If by chance Denis gets through John, who would you personally put in front of him next?
Me or the chat?
Both.
Well, it would be kind of cool to see Denis Cyplenkov versus Jerry Catherall before one of them gets to face Levon.
I was just going to say that.
That would be wild.
I was just going to say that,
Yeah.
Because, when you do that, and like I said, styles make matches, and I want Jerry, I want him so bad to be dominant, but, I was more impressed with the Gennady win than I was with the Georgie win. How about that? Is that fair enough? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
I was more impressed with him beating Gennady than Georgie, because it was just like, dude, it was kind of sloppy. The 3 wins that Jerry had, didn't 2 of them come off elbow fouls?
Yeah. Now,
You know,
people keep
so
saying Dennis versus Devin. I don't agree with that because I don't think there would be a big call for once we saw Levon versus Devin and how that went.
yeah,
Why would you just completely derail Dennis on his way back to Levon? If Devin somehow managed to get the win on him, which he very well could, it kind of ruins that entire plan. And then we're back to wondering who the next opponent is for Levon. It's
right.
kind of like the pro wrestling approach where you kind of protect guys until you get them in the matches that you want to get them in.
And like I said, it's hard for everybody to know where Dennis is. We all can speculate, but it's kind of hard because I don't know the last time he had a match right-handed.
It's been a long time, and I think the last super match he had, wasn't it the left-handed match that he pulled with, or was there another one after that with Devin?
I thought he pulled Devin. His last match that actually meant something before he got sick was against Devin, and he beat him 6-0 left-handed.
Yeah, he looked comfortable.
Yeah.
It was a left-handed match.
Mm-hmm.
But Devin looked like he was like 220 pounds for that match.
Well, he was coming off WAL too, remember?
Yeah, in a different weight class. Well, yeah, different weight class.
So, I mean, does Devin even want to climb back up into the supers again? I mean, well, he's pulling freaking Gennady, but does he want to even climb back up there? Because I think Devin now that 253 pound range has proven that, you know what, I'm here, but it's like, hey, there's nobody that can beat me. I mean, the way he beat Sanders was like, wow, mind game, mind control, technique, anything he wanted. Like, I know one thing about Devin, I'm not saying he's predictable, but when he knows it might be a challenge, that's when he kings moves.
Yeah.
When there's a threat.
Jay says Devin was like 260 plus. He didn't look like it. He didn't look like the guy that pulled Levon, who was closer to 300 pounds. And he didn't look like the guy he is now.
Right. Neil said a lot of people are not giving John a chance. I don't know why, John is one of those guys, and John was beating Dennis when fucking John was like 220.
Yeah, full power Dennis, he was beating him. And
yeah.
We often forget that Dave Chafee pinned a very, very strong version of Dennis as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is it because a lot of people see here's the thing, because this is where you got to know, okay, how long are people in this sport? That's when you kind of go, okay, how long you been in this sport? Because, like I said, John was beating Dennis when John was 220, right? How many people remember that? I mean, a lot of the, we'll say newbies, maybe 3 years max in the sport, only know what they see in the last couple of years, right? They don't know way back when, right? So, hey, you got to realize, John can get it done. And if he does get it done, here we go.
Yeah. Oh, man. Huh. This is a question that is going to be a tough one to answer.
Are we talking top 10 or what?
I'd say he's probably in the top 10.
I don't know what number to put him at, though. That's the thing.
Super heavyweight. I mean,
is he coming off an injury?
I don't know, but let's look at the guys he's beat. He beat Derek, but then he went on and he beat Michael Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Who else has he defeated recently?
He's gotten quiet. That's the thing.
Yeah, he's a massive guy. I don't know. Revez versus Dave. I thought they had a match already at one point. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, Dave is undefeated in King of the Table because he beaten Krdeka and he beaten Vitali, but East versus West, he hasn't won a match yet. A series. He hasn't won a series yet.
Where did he pull Michael Todd?
East versus West. I forgot what number, but East versus West.
Didn't he win that match?
Mm-hmm. Michael is yet to win.
Yeah. Right. He lost against Morozov at East versus West 5.
And that's the thing. Here's Morris. Here's another guy. So it's like he's taking time off to rest because, before that, he was going to every single East versus West, pulling both hands, talking about Morozov. And now, what?
That's news to me.
Yeah, I didn't know that. What's
Quit
going
as
on?
in just hasn't pulled lately, or quit like said I quit?
Wow. I may have to go to his page and be like, hey, what the hell?
His protege, though, the Golden Dragon, seems to be lighting it up.
Jay Clean says Kradeka has a life outside of arm wrestling. Not sure if he actually quit. Well, I mean, don't we all got lives outside of arm wrestling, I'm in the criminal justice field, so,
Thank God I have a life outside of arm wrestling.
I'm waiting for you to get a call, Ron, because here's the thing. What I see, because I'm a left-handed puller, as you, so I'm waiting, okay? I'm waiting. When Morozov is back, hey, I'm done. I'm healed up. I'm rested up. I'm ready to go. The first match that should happen for the left-handed overall title should be Morozov and Corey West. Now
I agree.
And that's just me. Now then, after that, then it's like, okay, who's next in line? Who get the next shot left-handed? That is the question.
Yeah.
This is when does Ryan, Espey get a call saying, hey, what's up? I'm ready, because I know for a fact you will have another crack at Corey West, knowing what you know now.
Yes, I would. Things are a little bit, things are different right now, Jody. So it's, we're all getting older. We're all getting up there. I still train every day.
Yeah.
But, at some point, I'm just going to be hitting the world championships, one or the other.
Yeah.
And we'll see what's up.
Maybe Arm Wars. You never know, right?
Maybe Arm Wars. Yeah, Neil has already floated some matches, so let's keep that going.
Yeah. So I mean, there's always opportunity for everyone to do something. When is Dave Chaffee coming back? He's taking, and like I said, I know some pullers can't be at every single East First West, but there were some. I think was the East First West 2 or 1 that there was like so many matches, and we could talk about that if you want to. How many is too many?
I mean, you want to watch less matches, you tune in an hour later.
You know
what I'm saying? Because even if you're a hardcore, I knew you'd like that one, Scott. That was for you. Now, if you're a UFC fan, for example, you could watch fights all day because there's prelims, and then there's prelims before that, and you got to jump to different channels and watch different things, and then there's the main event that's 4 more hours in the evening. It seems like that's kind of Engen's approach. He's got 10 to 20 matches on every card. All those guys are well compensated for arm wrestling, but if you don't want to see some of them, I mean, you don't have to. You can come back a couple hours later. The problem happens when you really want to see like the opening couple, and then the ones later on. You pretty much got to watch the whole thing.
Yes and no. There's a couple ways to get by this. And before, someone said Ryan versus Mendaugas, and we'll get to that in a sec. But
yes.
Like me, because it happens on Saturday, right? Normally Saturday is my practice day. My team comes over, we train, we'll watch the matches, but then it's like we train at 10 a.m. local time. Usually, the event starts at 9 a.m. or it starts at 10 a.m. and it's fucking 2:30 and we're still going. Now, normally, because, I'm off work the back half of the week. So, hey, Saturday is usually my last day of my weekend before I head back to work on Sunday. So that's when my wife and we got to go grocery shopping and do all that kind of stuff and spend some time with her. I can always come back to it. But the thing about that's the good thing. I can always come back and watch it. Once you order, you can come back and watch it. The bad news is I got to stay the fuck off social media because I don't want to know nothing. If I happen to see it, then or happen to hear something, fine. But me being the fan that I am, I like to know firsthand how they won. I like to know firsthand how they lost. Right. So that way I get to come on Monday morning with my co-host, Mr. Espey, and we could talk about that in its entirety and bring it to all you fans out here. So that's what I like to do. So yeah, it can be a long one, but the good thing about it, when you rewatch it, I'm sitting right here in my office, right? I'm sitting right here. I got my mouse ready. I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, okay, match one is done. I can fast forward between all the other, everyone going to their respective corners and getting rub downs, whatever. I can fast forward all that and then get right to the setup. Or most likely, 85, 90% of the matches are in the strap anyway. I can get through all that, fast forward through the setup, and go boom. There you go. So that's the good thing about that,
If I were to say what is my optimal, I'd say you follow the same formula that worked for UFC. You have 5 to 8. 5 matches on the main card, a few prelims.
Right. Hey, I'm a prelim guy. You know that, right? If you watch Michael Todd in the Monster Factory, it was announced yesterday. I will be there, the weekend of April 29th, so I'm on the prelim. I'm on the day before. It's just a 2-day event. I'm on the Friday evening event. So,
did he announce any matches yet?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what are they, Jody?
Well, the main event is Chan Shaw versus Richard Lepkes.
Right. I knew that one.
And did you know now that they're going to rerun that between Michael Todd and Pablo, this time right-handed for Pablo's title?
Huh. Okay.
So those are like the main events. There's some other stud matches like Rush Shredder, who's in the chat. Me and him are going to go toe-to-toe, left-handed. He is currently ranked 13th, I believe, in North America at 242, and I am the dead last guy at number 20. So, that's going to be a real important match. There's some other ones. Roger Learn, Daniel Worley. There's Pablo's pull left-handed versus Artem, by the way. Some people say it's a mismatch. We're going to have to wait and see. But, yeah, go ahead and check out Monster Factory, the live, because they announced all the stuff yesterday. So, by all means, go ahead and check that out. And I'm telling you right now, I expect Pablo to start getting calls from Neil Pickup and, Core Sports, because he's just tearing it up right now,
Oh, and he looks the part, man. Like he's a big, strong-looking guy.
Yes.
Yeah. What else we got to cover, my friend?
I don't know. I don't want to get into the Travis thing because it's like, like I said, the way I talk about him, y'all might think I don't like him. It's not that. He's a funny guy. I've dealt with him on a couple occasions. All my interactions have been positive. So I'm not going to poo-poo on the guy, but it's just like everyone says, oh, Travis, you got to come back. You got to come back. It's only the newer people that ask him to come back. Because, Neil knows, I know, and some of the guys who've been around the sport for a while, Travis has nothing to prove. He really doesn't.
Because maybe it's in his own mind that he thinks he does, and that would be a little weird.
Think about it. He's won Zloty. Back when Zloty was a real thing. He's won Zloty. He's won WAF. Beat Alexei Vovoda at the top of his game at the time, right? He's won the wall hammer. There was one year, was it 2015 or 16? He won both hammers, left and right. What does he have to prove? Nothing. His kids are at an age now where it's like, look, my son's on the cusp of going to pro. And I got another son, like you said earlier, got a scholarship to go to college. Deep down, he's a family man, right? He has nothing to prove. Now, if he comes back, awesome. Give us something to talk about. But when everyone's saying, oh, you got to come back, I'm like, okay, he said that so many times. And then next thing you know, he pulled the carpet underneath our feet and we fall on the ground every single time. Until Travis says, hey, I'm coming back, and we actually see him show up and pull, and somebody put money on it, It's all just water cooler talk. That's just the way it is. And once again, I will say it one more time for the record. I am not bagging on the guy. I'm just, these are the facts. You know? Yeah, he posted something on NFL Network. Yeah. But again, it's like, he's going to tell you straight up, I will pull, but it got to be for some money. The last time Travis pulled a legit match, he pulled Georgie, beat him 3-0. That was Moldova, like, what, 5 years ago? You were at the event, Ryan, weren't you?
Yeah, I was at that event. It was 2018. And then the government changed in Moldova, and arm wrestling became a thing of the past.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I mean that was like, hey, that was a new thing because that was before East vs. West even came out.
I have never experienced something like that in my life. Is that Moldova trip?
Is that good or bad?
That was good.
Oh, okay.
Like I can't even talk about some of it, but it was wild. Like the red carpet, man. Like we're talking like personal chefs and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, it was good. I mean, it's unfortunate that it kind of took a turn for the worse as far as that goes. But I'm just like going, man, he got nothing to prove. Now, if he does come back, we talked about the Cody Merritt. That didn't happen. Talked about, oh, I'm going to do this. Didn't happen. Michael Todd a few years ago didn't happen. So it's kind of like, okay, I mean, if you ask him, he didn't watch a whole lot of it, East versus West, until it said, hey, why don't you come down and announce? Then he kind of got into it. He wasn't really watching it, you know? So, again, that's just what it is, So,
well, maybe Travis and I need to get together and have a match for a warm-up for him.
Well, there you go. I would love to see that,
Right-handed.
Ooh, there you go. How is your right, by the way?
It's good. It's good. It feels good after I pulled pork chop. And fun fact, I've only pulled Travis Bagent one time with the right hand. It was at the Arnold Classic, and I beat him.
He doesn't talk about that. I never knew that even happened.
It happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hasn't he won an Arnold too?
You know what? I don't know if he has. So some of my best wins have come at the Arnold Classic. I beat Devin there twice. I beat Travis there once. I beat Michael Todd there once.
I mean, Don Underwood's a two-time Arnold Classic winner.
That was the year that Don and I were in the, like Travis, no, not Travis. Devin, Don, and I were in the top three.
Mm-hmm.
Don went down to the B side off of Devin. Devin and I pulled. I won. Devin went to the B side, and Don knocked him out.
Wasn't there controversy with that too?
The only controversy is that Don had to pin him about 17 times for one to get called.
Wow.
Both matches. And the same thing happened at Arm Wars Sin City.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Good Lord. I remember that because that's still, and I think that might have been the last time Devin pulled at Arm Wars until just recently.
Yeah.
Either the Sin City or the one at the Tafford Center where he pulled Michael Todd. I think that might have been the last time Devin had pulled. And so basically that title was his, and then he came back and beat Sanders. So he's technically still the Arm Wars champ. So I hope Neil brings that back.
Yeah. And that Devin didn't screw around as much back then as he does now. But It was still weird. It's like he had an aura about him because he's moving all over in the referee's grip, and the referee is explaining to him that you cannot move in a referee's grip. And Leonard had to come over and remind his referees that those are fouls they're supposed to be calling.
Well, and this goes back to what I'm saying. When the ref says stop, you stop. If you keep messing around, foul. Yeah. I guarantee you he won't move again. Guarantee you. He won't move. He'll just be, all right, cool, let's go. Just say go. I'm not moving. Just say go. Because I'm telling you, when you allow it to happen, they still move. You don't say anything, they're going to do it. Every arm wrestler out there will try to find to get some kind of advantage, some way, somehow. I will start like this. Some people say, hey, you're starting backwards. You know, I'm not here and I'm not there, but I'm like right here. And even then, I might be a little backwards. But, you know, I mean, I don't play the game. I don't want to sit there and blow my hand up on the preset setup. You know, I don't have time for that. I am here to compete. And if God forbid, if you fly across the pond, right? You know, arm wars, arm God, whatever, you know, you go across there and compete. The last thing you want to do is foul out. That'd be a waste, you know?
Yeah.
I think people just, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just saying, I think people just, you know, overthink the rules. Like, look, what are the rules? Cool, I got you. Boom. All right, let's go. And go from there. It's real. I think people just read too much into things, you know?
Hey, Justin, I think it's a combination of two things. The referee set the tone right off the bat with that warning that came within about 2 seconds. And I think he was just a lot more confident.
Well, I mean, Devin has created a reputation, especially since that Prudnick match where he was just like kind of undressing the referees in front of everybody and getting away with it. That, you know, you remember the NBA player Dennis Rodman?
Yep.
How he got a bad reputation. He was so quick to get a technical for some of the stuff he would do, as if me and you did the same thing he did, we get the benefit of the doubt, but he get the technical. It's kind of like that, where, okay, you've built yourself up to, you know, be abrasive to the referees, and now you go to some other organization, they're not going to put up with that. Look, straighten your shoulders, stop, move, foul. And of course, Devin's like, hey, I never got blah, 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 blah in my life, or it's the quickest time I got a warning. You stopped, didn't you? Now you can focus on the match. Just focus on the match, you know? So,
yeah. Well, my friend, we're coming up on the hour. Should we call it for the day and come back next week and talk about all things King of the Table related?
Yes, sir. Is it prediction time?
It will be on this Monday. We will do some predictions and we will talk it out. We have quite a bit to talk about. Actually, you know, the one thing we didn't talk about yet that maybe we just want to cover really quickly.
Okay.
Is the fact that we have Matt Mask pulling Sonev on Saturday and Mike Gould on the left arm against Sonev.
He's doing double duty, huh?
He is doing double duty.
Is that a Magna promotion?
Yes. Yep.
Can somebody buy her a bottle of wine? I mean, the stuff she's doing right now, and it's like, of all things, she's the one that put together John Brzezinski and Toddzilla coming up in August. Can someone like give her a hug or buy her a bottle of wine or something like that and just thank her and whatever? Because as quiet as it's kept, she's making some things happen too.
Yeah.
In the Great White North. So, yeah, that takes. And is that like live too, or is that like something you got to order?
Actually, you know what? I think we're wrong on that one. I think it's Umesh that's putting on this event.
Oh, really?
But they're very close in proximity.
How do we find out who goes live on that?
There will be a live feed somewhere. We just need to track it down before the event.
Okay, we'll have to do that.
Yeah. Maybe they're in conjunction. I don't know. But either way, I mean, I think Matt needs to get a win here.
Yeah.
I think he can. Sonev is good, though. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see it go the other way.
Well, I'll tell you what. We could touch base on that too, because by the time next Monday comes, we'll know the results. Yes,
we will.
And hopefully, some way, somehow, somebody will go live. I can dissect the match itself and bring you my points and opinions and go from there.
Yeah. Now, I hope Mike Gould is in good shape for this because he's taking on a tough young kid.
Was he training for that match, or was it like a last-minute thing, or what?
Last-minute thing when Curtis Cameron got injured.
Right. Okay. I mean, hey, guys, when you're an arm wrestler, you always train because you just never know when somebody calls you, go, hey, so-and-so pulled out. Can you do it? And it's like, oh, hell, let's do it. You know?
There you go. Scott
Okay.
McGinnis.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Well, we're going to find out one way or the other. That's all I know.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Let's chat next week.
Yes, sir. Everybody, thanks for joining us on the show. We will be back here next Monday, as always. Y'all take care of yourself. Happy Monday.
And make sure you go over to Jody's Facebook page and wish him a happy birthday on his wall.
Thank you. Appreciate that, my friend. I will see y'all next Monday.
All right. See y'all.